As the war hits the one-year mark, international support for Kyiv is at an all-time high. Overnight, the UN General Assembly approved a non-binding resolution calling on Russia to end hostilities and pull its troops out. 32 countries abstained from the vote, including China. Moscow has dismissed the resolution as useless. The United States has also announced sweeping new sanctions to inflict further economic pain on Russia. The White House says the move targets banks and defense industries. It will hit over 200 individuals and entities that are currently supporting Moscow's war effort. Washington says the measures will crack down on Russia's ability to circumvent previous sanctions. On top of that, the U.S. has announced another $2 billion in security aid for Ukraine. It comes as the group of 7 leaders are set to hold virtual talks with Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky. Let's get more now from Will Denslow, who joins us live from Kyiv. Well, let's start first with those G7 talks between President Zelensky and the G7. Are we expecting any major outcomes?
Well, we've heard from Japan's Prime Minister Fumio Kishida, who says that we can expect the G7 to be launching and discussing another round of financial sanctions on Russia. Japan says it will be taking those steps to mark this anniversary. Of course, this comes as a number of nations, including here in Ukraine, are seeking to really tighten the screw on Russia with regards to sanctions. A number of EU member states have said that 2023 must be the year to crack down on Russia's ability to circumnavigate sanctions that are already in place. We've also heard from 10 Downing Street in the UK and Rishi Sunak, the country's Prime Minister, who's laid out a few goals that the UK has for its G7 counterparts. Rishi Sunak, according to Number 10, says that the UK is seeking to bolster Ukraine's capabilities. The topic of long-range missiles will be a key topic of discussion for the G7. The UK is an advocate for Ukraine receiving these long-range weapons. Also, the UK saying it will do more to support countries that are in a position to supply jets to Ukraine, and the UK in turn will provide them with planes so that those nations can send older jets in their stead to Kyiv. Of course, Ukraine has maintained that sending fighter jets to them would be a game changer on the battlefield.
While NATO and the EU have reaffirmed their backing for Ukraine, as the conflict enters a second year, will they be able to sustain the kind of support they've been giving Kyiv so far?
Well, of course, there are certainly concerns that public support in places like the United States is perhaps waning. So the real momentum is a huge hope that it can be sustained. So if we're still in a position a year later, into a second year, if the fighting continues, that the public and international support that we're seeing today has not wavered. Of course, we've heard some strong messages of defiance from Ukrainian officials to mark the one-year anniversary since the full-scale invasion. The country's defense minister, Oleksiy Reznikov, says that we're entering a new period in the fight. The Kyiv's mayor, Vitaly Klitschko, says that we will win. This comes in a day we've heard from the UK's defence ministry saying that Russia has changed tactics over the past year. It's gone from trying to seek full control of Ukrainian territory to now seeking to deplete Ukraine's forces and to use its superior amount of arms, essentially population, to throw into the fight and use its resources to grind down Ukraine's army. But we've heard a very strong message of defiance from Ukraine's president. He says 2023 will be the year of Ukraine's victory.
All right, Will Denslow, thank you so much for that report live from Kyiv.